You know, we have this series and this question. Are you depressed? I'm going to talk to you today in 4 stories or scenarios so that you can understand some of the principles that I want to extend to you today. Okay. So, number 1, have you ever noticed that, let's say you go somewhere, you go to somewhere to get a bite to eat, you go for a walk in the park, you go to do something pleasant, and maybe you're meeting up with your family or your friends later, or maybe you're going to spend time alone later, but at that time you're by yourself and you see a couple. Have you ever experienced that couple paying more attention to you than to each other? Very strange behavior. And I've heard this said by other people. They've experienced this. How does this relate to depression? A lot of times, when people are intrinsically unhappy with their lives, even if they're in the company of someone who, to the outside world, looks like a venerable partner, to the outside world looks like somebody that you should be involved with, for other reasons, this person is someone who represents some kind of ideal, or even if they're just happy to have somebody. But if they are with one another and they're more interested in talking about somebody that they see, in making fun of somebody that they see, that to me is very troubling. And that speaks of somebody or a couple that's not truly happy. So when you think about your own happiness, when you ask yourself that question, am I happy or are you depressed? Think about that. When you are in the company of those that you care about, are you more focused on the people around you, making fun of the people around you, talking about the people around you, excluding the people around you? Or do you really bask in that person's company? These are some of the things that you want to think about. So again, hi Edwin, Mendy, hi. Hi Silent Dogs, hi King Isaac Ademolu, hi Casey's Transaction, hi Ellie's Fishing. You guys are so wonderful. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up as you come into the room. You guys are absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to continue saying hello to you. As Cooper Wilson 6029, Maggie Gonzalez, Miguel Carlos, Lily Lubin, you guys are wonderful. I'm going to keep saying hello and I'm going to keep talking about this topic. So thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Absolutely costs you nothing, but you come into a wonderful environment. You are walking into a room and you are sitting down with people who like you, who like to be around you. You are coming away from all the chaos of the day and all of the overwhelming elements of the day, and you're getting to sit around with people who really like you and want to be around you. So we're asking the question, are you depressed? And we're going to be talking about it in a series of stories today, 4 of them. Hi, Cooper Wilson, 6029, Miguel Carlos, Lily Lubin. Oh, Lily Lubin says, I am impressed. Oh, I thought she was going to say I'm depressed. I am impressed. You pronounced my name correctly. Thank you. Well, thank you, Lily Lubin. You are wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here. And that one Daisy says your voice is so nice to hear. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's continue, and I'm going to keep looking down and saying hello to you as we go. So let's that first story when we asked, are you depressed? When you have somebody and they have a significant other, and they're out with their significant other, but they're looking over at other people. They're making fun of other people. They're laughing at other people. They seem to get more pleasure from being unkind to those around them rather than focusing on the pleasure of each other. Those to me are indications of when people are not really happy. Hi, Chihuahua. So glad you're here. Silent Docs, glad you're here. That one, Daisy, I'm so glad you're here too. So that is really what you want to consider when you are with your loved ones. Do you look around at other people to denigrate others? Do you enjoy laughing at others just because you're with someone or maybe somebody else is walking alone? Think about those things because those are often indications that you're depressed. Something is amiss, and it's something that you really want to think about. Coconut says, make me a mod. Oh, make you a mod. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to learn how to, let me see if there's enable flash. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to learn how to do that, how to make you a mod. So come back to the next live and we'll continue with that. You guys are absolutely wonderful. You're hitting that thumbs up button as you're in the room. So let's go to story number 2. Sometimes you see something that's unjust, unfair, or you experience it yourself. And sometimes you have this anger that can rise up in you, knowing that you're witnessing or experiencing something that is unfair. And there's kind of a helplessness that can sometimes go with that feeling, depending on the gravity of the situation or what environment you are in or the repercussions for speaking up about it. So let me say this to you. Calvert Kids, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you guys for all the hearts. Hi, Calvert Kids, you're wonderful. Thank you for being here. So let me say something to you. Now, I'm a believer. Many of you who follow poetry, you know that. And some of you may not know that. And some of you, we all have different experiences. But I'm a believer. And one of the things I was realizing today is God really does handle things. And I know there are particular scriptures too that speak specifically to this. If there's a wrong or an injustice, that say basically you should leave it to Him. I want to say that that's one of the things I've seen. It's just that it doesn't always happen quickly. And so you might see an injustice or experience something, or something that's going wrong. Some of you might be dealing with very painful things behind the scenes. Maybe somebody's doing something inappropriate with you. Maybe you're in a class and there's an instructor that is being biased. Maybe you're on a job and somebody is affectionate towards you in a way that you don't want. Maybe you're around your schoolmates, and now come close for this, come very close, because Silent Doc says same, thank you. Because listen, I want to say to you, a lot of you when you're in school, so come close, what you don't understand, many of you, is that when people, especially in school at that age, treat you in such a way to alienate you, to be unkind to you, to give you a hard time, you have to understand you have a gift. Children are very wonderful. They're very perceptive. Very perceptive of the world tries to, as Wayne Dyer, I believe, said, de-genius them. I don't know if he came up with it, but Wayne Dyer did. I heard him say, everyone is born a genius, and then the world de-geniuses you, something to that effect. So children are they have this level of genius, this connection, this wonder. They're amazing. Okay, but that can also be if, let's say, a child is dealing with something difficult at home, or there's a difficult dynamic, or there's jealousy that they have. When they see you, because I know model poetry followers are very much leaders. And if you go to modelpoetry.com, sometimes we may be talking about you, especially if you comment on YouTube videos. This is the focus right now. We might talk about you at modelpoetry.com. So you can go there and extend this experience. But model poetry followers are very much leaders. So I know when you guys walk into the room, I know you have an impact. I know you do. And for some of you, whether it's on your job or whether it's on your after school job or in your school, wherever it is, sometimes the very things that are hurting you and making you cry are actually the things that should be making you smile and look up and say thank you. Wow. That other kids would want to say something or do something, or in some cases want to discourage you. But this is not because you're inadequate. It's not because you're not wonderful. It's for the very reason that you are. Taylor Horan says hi. Hi, Taylor. So you have to remember that, that one Daisy says, how are only 6 people watching? I know, I think the numbers are off because at the end of the live, when I click it, it's many more people than it indicates on the screen. And that's going to bring us to the next point, okay? So we have number 1, if you're with your mate and you look out at somebody and you're more interested in those other people than your own person that you're with, that to me can be an indication that you're depressed. Or if you see other people doing that, making fun of you when they're with their significant other, I mean, that's not a happy person. And then we talked about number 2. And let me say this to you. I'm going to come back to number 2. Because Taylor made this comment, let me go back to, Lily Lubin says, struggling with Christianity lately and feeling very hollow and depressed. I'm very much a Christian, and I really believe strongly reading the Word and focusing on the Word in the Bible will really help you through. And really listening for feedback, and knowing that the Lord really loves you. It's very different than when people teach you things in a kind of distant way with rules and things. When you know that God loves you, that the Lord loves you, really loves you, like more than any friend or family member, it's a completely different experience. So I believe you should really try to sit and talk to him just away from everything and in a very personal way. So now let me get back to what you were saying, that comment about, I can't believe only 6 people are watching. This is something that is at the crux of what's happening on social media right now. Thank you. That one, Daisy says, I'm subscribing to you. Thank you so much. Those numbers that they present to you, because again, when I clicked, especially yesterday after the live, it was so many more people than they indicated on the screen. I don't know why that would be the case, but I know that this distortion with numbers, or these inaccuracies with numbers, or this perception that, because if you have 2 followers and somebody has 2 million, I mean, wouldn't that normally make you feel insignificant? But you have to understand that there is a heavenly impact that whatever the world doles out cannot compare with. And you'll see people who have 1 follower, 2 followers, 0 followers, who will say or do something that ends up having an impact that goes around the world. And to me, that's a heavenly impact. Because why is it that sometimes people with 200 million followers, 300 million followers, they just don't have the impact, the weight, sometimes of someone who has hardly any following? And what does that tell you? What you have to really think about that. So that brings me to the third thing. Let me backtrack. Are you depressed? We handled 1. If you're with somebody, a mate, somebody that you care about, and yet you're more focused on other people, making fun of other people, or you've been on the other side, where you see 2 people together, they should be holding hands, enjoying one another, talking to each other, but instead they're looking at you or making fun of you, or that's an indication of somebody who's not happy. And then we'll skip over 2 and go to 3. The beautiful comment that was made, I can't believe there are only 6 people in here. That was that one Daisy said, how are only 6 people watching? Again, when I click at the end, there's so many more people watching. But even if it was just 1 person, let's get back to that. We have to stop having that concept that what the world deems as important or vital or important or significant or newsworthy is what we're going to deem as newsworthy. Sometimes it can start with 1 person. Sometimes you may be creating content online that fuels someone with millions of followers. Hopefully they will give you credit, because that's another issue. So let's move on to number 4, giving credit. This is another thing that's been a discussion, especially larger creators in many cases, seemingly taking ideas, thoughts from smaller creators and not giving them credit. And this is a very painful thing that some people are dealing with. How does this link back to depression? If you are doing that, if you are a larger creator and you're taking from a smaller creator and you're not giving them credit, that's an indication of something underlying that's very concerning. Because it's very easy to just say, oh, hey, so-and-so, I saw them making this flaxseed and raisin cupcake today, and I was so inspired. So let's get started. Very easy. It doesn't subtract from them. It only gives them more respect, and they may connect to other people that the creator that they mention, the content creator that they mention, is doing. They may get connected back to that content creator's audience by mentioning them, respecting them. So, are you depressed? If you're in a situation where you want to take things creatively from others, but you don't want to get credit, you have to ask, what is that all about? And why is it so important to you? Is it because you want to be aggrandized and you want people to think that it's coming from you when it's not? Would that bolster you in your own eyes? Because it has the opposite effect, especially long term. Which brings us to the next thing. And that one, Daisy says, thank you. Your words are as if Jesus himself is talking. Wow, that is so beautiful. None of us can compare to Jesus. So if we are sharing anything that would be pleasing to him, that is so beautiful for you to say that. Thank you so much. Oh, and Lily Lubin says, thank you for being here. Thank you, Lily Lubin, too, for being here. So let me go back into that now. So back to that. If you're a content creator and you're taking something and you're not giving credit, and if the reasons are you want to be aggrandized by others, you want people to have a better perception of you or bigger perception of you, that is something that is concerning. Now, there is a content creator. I can't remember the name of the person, which sounds ironic in the context of this conversation, but I do want to share the idea, which just eluded me, so maybe I'll come back to it. But the idea is, if you're coming up with something, don't be afraid. If you can remember the creator, the content creator, feel free to give them credit. Not only, I do remember. There was a preacher, and I don't have his name, but he was saying, one of the things he was saying is, if you humble yourself, that God will lift you up. But if you, I'm just paraphrasing, but if you want to look bigger in your own eyes or want to convince people that you're so great, you can be humbled. So I'm paraphrasing, but it's an important concept, because if you keep doing those things, after a while, they're going to become evident to other people. So just do the right thing. So now let's go back over what we were saying today. We're going to skip over 2, but number 1, are you depressed? We were looking at the idea of, if you're with somebody else, a loved one, a partner, and you're more focused on making fun of other people around you, that's an indication that you're depressed. Or if you've witnessed other people making fun of you when they're with their friends, rather than enjoying their friends, that's an indication. And then we talked about the idea of, I'll put them in no particular order. We talked about the idea of giving credit to others and not being afraid to do that, because wanting to be aggrandized and wanting people to think that, something came from you when it didn't, is an indication that you are not in a place of a good self-esteem, and you want to be perceived in a way that is not really who you are. You want to attribute to yourself things that you don't really have, and it's unnecessary. If you remember a content creator or somebody else, just let them know. Let your audience know. Now, we were also talking about the concept of, you know what? Let me take you to another story. Come close. Come very close. I want to take you to another story. And since you're in here, and before I get to that, Lily Lubin says, yeah, the whole stealing content thing is really just a way to try to feel better about your own problems and try to feel like you have worth. Usually it's just someone who's lacking in self-worth. Oh, wow, Lily Lubin. I mean, she's really, that is just so beautifully said. Very, very nice. Silent Doc says green screen kids. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm so glad that you're speaking up, Silent Docs. That when Daisy responded, yeah, green screen kids do it a lot. Oh, okay, these must be content creators that I don't know about. Yes, but you know what this does? And I'm so glad that you guys are speaking. It brings back this question, and it raises these suspicions. When they have these people, 200 million followers, 300 million followers, this can be a wonderful accomplishment, even though it's often bolstered by some kind of legacy media, somebody who was once on television or somebody who was once signed to a record label. So they have a whole infrastructure behind them. So you who has 4 followers should not be comparing yourself to someone with 400 million followers, because they have they could have literally centuries of help. If they're signed to a major record label that started in the 1800s, they have centuries of help, and you just started in your lifetime. So there's no reason for you to compare yourself to someone who has a whole infrastructure behind them. If they were on television, legacy television, one of the major networks, again, they're following. It's not just like you that just got up one day and started cooking and you had the courage to start and go for that one follower when you felt so discouraged, didn't even want to get out of bed, but you started chopping up those ingredients and you started hearing the pan simmer and you just said, I'm going to do this. I love this so much. You can't compare yourself to somebody that was picked by legacy media some 20 years ago. Not to diminish them, it's wonderful. But that is, I really believe, one of the reasons why many people are depressed. They are looking at people who have expansive opportunities. And I call it the 3 S's, okay? Somebody who was in some kind of a relationship, and you can guess with an S, relationship, or another S, they knew someone they knew, that's the second S, or substances that should not be used. They were selling substances that should not be used. Those 3 S's are often how some got their start. And you should not be comparing yourself to people who had opportunities or who began in a way that doesn't meet with your standard. And that's something that's very important to remember. So I want to bring it all back. When you say, are you depressed? Look at these core issues. Look at them. When you're with your friends, are you able to enjoy, or are you making fun of other people? When you create something, are you able to give credit? Or do you want people to think that you're something that you're not? When you look at numbers, are you remembering that there's a whole infrastructure behind some of the artists that you see? Some of it is very corporatized. And another point, are you recognizing your impact? Why is it that you have 2 followers and yet you say something or do something, or you have an image, or you create a little song and it has a stronger impact than somebody with 200 million followers? Shouldn't we then be suspicious of these numbers? Are these numbers in some cases there to make you so discouraged that you don't even try? And so we just have the same ideas, concepts, people with the same looks in rotation. So I want you to think about that. Now that one Daisy says, everyone in chat, remember, even if someone steals your work, God, and we can capitalize God next time, God will always have your back as long as you have his. Okay, interesting, that one, Daisy. Well, I think God will always have your back. And I think that's really important. And that one, Daisy says, when you are on a low, God will pick you up high. Remember, God loves you. Amen. Wow, that one, Daisy, you are so sweet. You are so wonderful. Yes, God will always have your back. Believe in him. Believe in him. And that is really the overall message. That is the message above all the other messages. Because when it comes down to it, you want to be able, you have to be able to go to him if you're really going to get anything done, if you're really going to achieve anything, if you're really going to have any kind of joy. And, he's everything. This is what I believe. So let me go back now. We are back to this question. Are you depressed? Let me go back to a story. I once knew of a girl, so come very close. I once knew of a girl who had a crush on a boy. And her friend knew about this crush, knew that it was an intense crush. As far as I know, she knew. And I think it made her feel powerful that she began to have a relationship with this boy that her friend had a crush on and didn't tell her friend. And I'm not sure why she would do that, but I think for some people, if they think they can pull someone away from someone else, relationship-wise, they really feel like they are empowered. So one of the things that I want you to realize is that you don't want to get your sense of who you are from being able to get the attention of someone who's in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship. Some of you are too young for that, but your sense of who you are should not come from being able to pull someone's attention from someone else. Let it be that you are enough. That person is interested in you. You don't have to feel you trumped somebody else, you pulled somebody else, and that's what makes you who you are. So let me close today. You guys have been so wonderful, so supportive tonight. It is so great to hear your voices. And I want to remind you that, and when I say hear your voices, I mean, in the comments, it's a way of hearing your voices. I want to remind you that when you come to these lives, yes, it's unusual. It's in the dark, but you're being enlightened. And you may see other people doing it, but this is something that we're beginning. We want to be able to speak to these issues and for you to be able to take time away from all the lights, the camera, the action, the transitions, the brightness, all of this stuff that's going on that can be chaotic in the day. And here you are in a place where you can play this again. You can sit back and play this again and absorb it. You know, when something comes from a place of love, that it's something that can help you. So you can lean back and just absorb the words. You can come here to a space where you know people like you and enjoy you, and where it's okay to be different, and where you're not scrutinized, and where there's not fighting, and you can just come and enjoy. It's like walking into a room where you know that you're loved and appreciated, and you can just relax. And that's what these lives are for. And if you laugh, that's okay. And if you cry, that's okay. Because sometimes there's so many challenges in the day, and you're not conscious of those who may be trying to pull you down. Some of them may not even be conscious that they're doing it or that they would have that impetus. So remember that those spaces that you go into where you can let go of the pressures of the day are important. Being strong in who you are and not looking for the outside for validation, very important. Going to God for everything, the most important. The Lord will always be with you. Go to Him. All right, I love you guys so much. You are absolutely wonderful. Let me just say a few things before we say. Lily Lubin says thanks. I so appreciate you, Lily Lubin. That one, Daisy says, I hope you get better soon. God bless. I think she's talking to She may be talking to Lily Lubin or another beautiful person in this chat today. You guys, your comments are so beautiful and so warm. And I'm just going to read a couple more. That one, Daisy, good night. Thank you so much for coming. You guys, it's been so wonderful. And that one, Daisy wanted to remind, she's writing that that I will always have people, my viewers, and God will always be with me. Thank you so much, that one, Daisy. You guys are so great. So thank you for coming to the live. I want you to also go to modelpoetry.com. And if you write in the comments, in the YouTube comments, if you go back on this live and write a YouTube comment, just say very plainly, mention me on your site, mention me on your website. And we would love to do it because you guys are so warm and so powerful. All of you who stayed to the end, you are just beyond wonderful. You guys are leaders. I love you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to keep talking, keep creating a beautiful space to be in. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.